Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first edition of the Spectrum Podcast live stream show. I'm TG. This is my co-host James. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm doing great, guys. What we're going to be talking about today is obviously the headline of fresh starts regarding a bunch of NFL trades, especially the main headliners being Kyler Murray and Justin Fields, who have been traded to the Eagles. Oh, no, not the Eagles. I'm sorry, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to have James himself over here talk
Mm.
about the other NFL trades that have been going on. He could break it down for you guys as well. But before we start off with that, first we're going to talk about a little bit of March Madness and some stuff that's been happening at Ohio State with the recent hires they've been making and their NFL Pro Days. So first, let's start with talking about March Madness. James, give me your opinion about March Madness. How you feel about that?
I, I think this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Since I've been watching basketball, March Madness has always been a big thing when it comes to the college space. This has been a really good March Madness. It has been really competitive, very tough. Duke, great to watch this year with Cameron and Caden and Isaiah Evans. Michigan, incredible team. Uh, Even on the women's side, UConn, UCLA, LSU, and Duke. It's been really beautiful to watch this year. Illinois, our fighting alumni, going to the Final Four for the first time in 2 decades. It's been a lot of Cinderella stories this season. It's been a great March Madness.
Oh, absolutely. And if you ask me, I said it like, if anything, what this March Madness show me is like the first like the Big Ten team in pretty much something fast. And I was like, wow, I was really surprised how dominant was in basketball. And I'm like, I didn't think they were, but it's like, no, they're really good in basketball. Michigan, despite the fact I hate them clowns, has had a good basketball team. Um, when you also look at as well, Illinois, as you talked about, it just basically made the Final Four for the first time in a while. They've actually been good. Iowa, I'm not surprised with them. At the end of the day, these idiots. Let's be real about Iowa. Iowa basketball team is Iowa's football team, people. It will forever be the same because Iowa's basketball team, like Iowa's football team, will beat you with the pace that they play, but they will also be beat by the way that they play. So, at the end of the day, when we talk about the March Madness, and not only that, but like it's like other teams like we've seen with TCU, Kansas, and others who have actually been really, really good. I'm not gonna lie, March Madness has been very, very exciting, and I'm actually happy about that for us because I'm like previous March Madnesses. Look, they've been exciting. Like let's be real, previous March Madnesses have been very exciting, but this one seems to be the most exciting it's been. So yeah, I hope they can keep it up.
Yeah, even with St. John and Kansas last Sunday was a nail biter. Seeing some a future projected first round pick and Karen Peterson go at it. To see guys teams like Iowa. Number two, Iowa did get upset in the beginning of this tournament, which is very surprising to some. But I think Iowa's basketball teams this year, especially in this tournament, have been incredible to watch. I think on top of that, when you look at teams that have kind of got here for the first time, Tennessee made an incredible run this March Madness season, and I think we're going to see a lot of teams next year even make more deep runs. Like I think North Carolina, as we all know, they were making a coaching change this season for the men's basketball team. I think North Carolina is going to be back here in March Madness in the tournament and a really better team.
Oh, I absolutely do believe so too. And I, who do you think will win the Natty?
Oh, you know, Arizona looks too good to me. This they're an over all around talent team that plays with a lot of grit and determination. Now I'm going to see that. I'm going to see how that looks when they play Michigan, because that's where they're going to be a really big test for them in this Final Four matchup. But they have a really good chance of making it all the way and winning a national championship. But I cannot sleep on Duke. Duke looks really good too. So I want to say Duke, but it also does depend on how well they can do in these next couple of matchups.
Yeah, it does. And look, Duke has always been a great basketball school,
Yeah.
and it's not surprising they still are. I'm interested to see what they do as well. I'm not gonna lie, and I want to see just how far they can get. If Now let's talk about some Ohio State news because I do know that we've now what people don't might not have known is Ohio State's pro day had happened. There were a lot. What people know is about Ohio State had the most owners, coaches, GMs, and and pretty much scouts in their pro day. And they
Yeah.
only have 10 players going this year to the NFL draft, and it's actually going to be pretty spectacular. But that
Hmm.
is a lot of players. But the biggest news really comes across for Ohio State is, even though that's great that they have that many GMs and all those owners there as well, is it's actually the players themselves, such as like Arvell Reese, who had himself a great pro day. But the one thing I will say that I find so infuriating is how everybody across social media has been killing that man for his drill, for a drill that has been done by countless others. What do I mean by that is if you've seen what's been on Facebook and Twitter, it's a particular drill that Ruben Bain did that Ruben Bain did really well, but Arvell Reese did not because he didn't work with Larry about it on it. One of the biggest, I find that so stupid because I'm like, are you guys aware that Micah Parsons a couple years ago, when he was coming out of college, did not do that drill very well? Like he didn't show any bend, but
Yeah.
when he did, but when he played on the football field, you saw bend from Micah Parsons. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to compare Arvell to say he's the next Micah Parsons or anything, but I'm saying like he plays like a Micah Parsons. There's a comparison in their style of play. And guess what? If you seriously, and I mean this when I say this, if you watch the film, I'm telling you, he's bendy. He's more than bendy. Like the man can really get around anybody if you watch his film. So why are people killing Arvell Reese for a drill that he didn't do so well in that we've seen someone before him do?
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. When it comes to the pro day drills and a lot of the drills we see, I I don't. I think more should focus on the skill level, not more so the drill. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think a lot of them can mess up on drills. I remember when CJ was coming out, and they had like the little test that they take when they're coming into the league, and he had like the lowest score ever, and everybody was
Oh
like, "Bro,
yeah.
does that show like how he comprehend things on the field and all this?" First and foremost, CJ is an incredible quarterback, and you saw that all season long
You're right. You saw that
when
for
he
two
was in
years.
college. We saw for 2 years how CJ can adapt to situations, decision making, his ability. I don't think we should look at certain drills of like ladders or okay, you got to bust through and oh, he did this kind of slow, this look kind of. I'm like, listen, we got to look at the overall skill level of what this player can bring in a one-on-one situation, not when it's a bunch of bags around him,
Mm-hmm.
because that can be taken any sort of way. Now, from what you said, Micah doesn't like when we watch the combine. We're watching.
Um. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about this. Yeah, James, I think you're frozen. I think about it. Yeah. Guys, sorry about this. It happens. The there's times where the internet would kind of want to freeze up on you. So James will be back, and shout out to Eric, my man, here in the chat. Hey guys, by the way, this show is brought to you by the OHIO podcast. If you guys have the opportunity, come and check out the OHIO podcast later on tonight, as they will be talking about a certain somebody. No, James. Yeah, no, it's good old Wi-Fi. His Wi-Fi was actually pretty strong, but for some reason it just kept doing that. Oh, he's back. James, you muted. Yeah, yeah, Eric. You know as well as we do that things just tend to get messed up for some reason. But it would be the OHL podcast, and it definitely would be podcasting without some form of issues. But yeah, no, as James was talking about, he was talking about Micah Parsons going through his combine, and like he didn't look like, it's not like in all the drills he didn't look like spectacular, but you could see what the man really was. I mean, at the end of the day, not all combines can tell you exactly what the players can do. I mean, dude, this is why you have so many NFL busts in today's draft. Because why? You rely a little too much on the combine. Now, I can understand this. We seen with a particular team up north that their film looks good, and then they suck. They suck. Yes, Eric, live stream is an adventure. Always will be. But at the end of the day, when we talk about the draft, it's like you got to be able to pick your poison. Now, again, with Scum, their players look good on film, but they suck in the NFL. Now, for granted, there's a cheating scandal, so you got to remind yourself of that. They don't know the plays, so a lot of them end up sucking. so you got to be aware of that. The film don't always say like, oh, they're in it. So you got to be aware of the context. But I will say that sometimes the film looks good and then it doesn't. And it also depends on the level of competition you're playing against as well. Because I've been on the brink of Caleb Williams, as you already know, James. You know as well. I've been whipping him for a while. And, you know, I even went back and checked out his time in the NFL. And I said, he's still the worst passing quarterback in the first 2 years in the NFL. He really is. He's the worst passing quarterback within 2 years. It's ridiculous, actually, that you are that bad at passing. And, yeah, you got the most elite receiving core I think any rookies had getting drafted in other than J.J. McCarthy at the Vikings. And it's not surprising to me that he's terrible because we don't call him McHandoff for no reason. So, I mean, we don't call him McHandoff for no reason. The dude cannot pass. So, at the end of the day, when I look at this entire thing where Arvell's getting killed for, I'm like, just watch his tape. His tape don't lie. Like, I get it. Some players, their tapes can lie. But with Arvell, it don't. Like, trust me, certain programs, certain teams, the tape don't lie. Unlike most.
See, I like the idea of the pro day just for certain guys to get looks that maybe haven't gotten them all season. But when you seen a guy playing all year, you cannot go right off the pro day and say, well, hey, are you sure he NFL ready? Look how we did that drill. I bet you there's a bunch of NFL guys that first don't do half of the drills that they do in the NFL. And secondly, the ones that do them good, they might not always shut out on the field. Like,
oh, yeah.
You're picking your poison when it comes to, all right, so he did good in the drills that we did in practice, but against like an actual linebacker, it wasn't great. It wasn't what I expected. Like,
yeah, no doubt about it, of course. And he's frozen again. I swear this is going to be the constant thing with streaming. It's going to be an adventure no matter what because this will keep happening.
Yeah.
All right. James, let me hear. Is your audio on?
It should be.
All right, you good. So... yeah, no, but it happens, guys. Trust me. It happened a lot on the OHL podcast. Trust me, I would know. It's happened a couple times with me on the OHL podcast and a couple others. They would tell you this happens a lot. But it's typical. But at the end of the day, I will say this, that no matter what, and not only that too, but I could even say the same thing about Carnell because he made some headlines with his slow 40 time. And I'm like... dude, I don't care if he has a slow 40 time. Like, the dude's old film, the tape tells me everything. Like, let's be real. You could be the fastest receiver in the NFL, but if you ain't got the route running, the hands, or any of that, you ain't got the skill set, I don't care how much talent you have, buddy. It's like, look, he got a slow 40 time, but his tape shows me he's a number 1, number 2 receiver in the NFL. He absolutely is. I don't care what anybody else says. So, and it's not just that, but it's like, these guys have gotten developed at the place that you guys know as NFLU. Everybody knows that. So you should be pretty much comfortable with getting these guys, especially with a wide receiver like Carnell Taylor. Come on, man. The wide receivers that came before him and after him, come on. Like, you already know what's going to happen.
I agree. Listen, the one thing about Ohio State, and you know it's true, wide receiver university all the way. Wide receiver university. But I agree with you when it comes to you have some really fast wide receivers that can beat a lot of guys in sprints, that can probably beat a lot of cornerbacks, but
Mhm.
it's the concentration. It's the
Yep.
mental ability. Hey, I outran you, but can you catch this ball even with a little bit of defense on you? Like, where do you see as your strength and as your weakness? I think when
Yep.
you watch like guys like Devontae Adams, ain't the quickest guy on the field, but incredible route running ability, can get open, can make the hard catches. So can Puka Nakua is another great example of that.
Mhm.
Um, Marvin Harrison is another great example of that. He's not as quick, but can get up there with the best of them, can jump with the best of them, and
Yep.
can catch over anybody. Those are the guys that can strive. I'm not the fastest, but I can beat you in other ways. I know what my strength is. And if I have a good quarterback that knows how to get me, how to get that ball where I need to catch it, I don't need anything else.
Mhm. And and not only that, but the other news with Ohio State that we could talk about is the recent hires of Joe Kim and Josh Brown or Joe Brown. Let me go see the guy they just got that they hired from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've hired three people from the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is the assistant offensive line coach, the assistant D line coach, and now Joe and Arthur Smith. Now you have Joe Kim, who is a legend. Let me tell people
Yeah.
everything you need to know about Joe Kim.
So,
He is a martial arts black belt pass rushing guru specialist with football. He has combined martial arts with football, but it's not just like we talked about what on the Only Child podcast. They talked about what Joe Kim could do for the D line, but it's also what he could do for the O line if Ohio State wanted him to, as well as the receivers, the defensive backs, the tight ends. He could do it for a multitude of positions. Is their hands, which like what we talk about with Ohio State is you need to be able to like move your hands around, especially against with D lineman against O lineman. And O lineman, you need to be able to move your hands as well as your feet against the D line. You need to be able to, and obviously it's blocking. With receivers, we talk about it. Tight ends, we say the same thing. Blocking, running backs, blocking. For the defensive backs and for the linebackers, you're going to be going hand to hand combat a lot with some of the receivers when they're going into either when they're running the ball or they're going to go into a passing, and you're going to try to get in the hand to hand kind of combat with them. The thing is with Joe Kim is he can teach them that kind of stuff. Not just the D line, but everybody. The only person that don't need that is the quarterback. The only ones that don't need that are the quarterback, the kickers, and the punters. Those are the only positions that don't need that. But every other position he absolutely can. If you go back to his time with the Redskins, as a matter of fact, now known as the Commanders, what Joe Kim did is he was coaching the D line and the O line regarding their hand skills, how to move their hands to get around or to prevent a D lineman from getting around you as well. So for the D line, he would teach them how to do their hands so they can get around the offensive lineman. And for the O lineman, he would teach them how to use their hands to keep the D lineman from getting past them. And he would even do the same thing with other positions. And he was doing that at Illinois recently, actually. He was known as the skill developer at Illinois. Like, he wasn't just confined to the D-line. He was confined to every portion of the Illinois team that requires them to use their hands, obviously. Like, again, blocking and hand-to-hand combat. So when I look at this hire with Joe Kim, I said, this is the best hire, one of the best hires Ohio State's made. And then the Brown hire from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I said this before, this is another good hire. And I've already seen people start talking about, oh, this is Larry Johnson's replacement. Oh, this is like somebody like Larry must be retiring. It's like, please stop. Please stop. He's not retiring. Mr. Coach Brown is coming in as the defensive analyst for the D-line. He will be coaching the D-line, don't get it twisted, because you forget, the analysts up in the booth can now coach. Coaches up in the booth can coach. That means quality control coaches, analysts, they can coach these D-linemen. But that doesn't mean that Larry's retiring people. Let me just throw that out there to the people who've been saying it, because the people who have been saying it, I'm saying it again, he's not retiring. He's not. And they have replacements for if he does. And Mr. Brown is not one of them. They like him, but he's not one of them. Let me tell y'all that now. So what do you think of the hires of Joe Kim and and Coach Brown? James? Oh, is he frozen again? Oh my god, this is gonna be an adventure. The first live stream and it's already like disasters kind of written already here. Guys, give James a sec. It's the thing's kind of being slow. All right, here we go. James, tell me your thoughts on the coaching hires.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with what you're saying, especially about Joe Kim and about having Brown in the booth. But I also want to say, what the heck is going on in Pittsburgh? They are cleaning house since Mike McCarthy has gotten there. They are like trying to get up out of there. I don't understand what Mike is doing in Pittsburgh, but he needs to get together. But I think this goes back to what we were talking about in the last couple of weeks. Ryan Day is going to find a way to bounce back every season that doesn't end in a national championship or gets close to it. Ryan Day is never going to not want to get back to the dance of getting back into the playoffs. So he always wants to make, and I think we look at, he also wants to get these kids right, no matter where they take in their next future of endeavor, whether it is the NFL or just getting to college. He wants to give them the tools to be great on the football field and outside of the football field. And the coaches that he's hiring can do that, can bring in those life skills that they can use.
Oh yeah, honestly when people and I'm gonna say this because some people and what up shout out to my man Bobby Mack, one of the people from the OHIO podcast, checking out the pod here. Good to see you, my brother. I'm gonna say this about the hires with Ryan Day is I said he's making Nick Saban moves. Now people may
Yeah.
ask, what do I mean by Nick Saban moves? It's if you've paid attention to Ryan Day, if you paid attention to Nick Saban's career, you would notice that man made very similar hires.
Yeah.
Everybody always wants to compare certain coaches like they're doing now with Kirk Signetti. They're trying to say he's the next he's the next Nick Saban, and they've been saying that about Dan Lanning. They've been saying that about Kirby Smart, and I'm like, guys, not every coach is going to be a Nick Saban, but, and this is a big but, they can be close to Nick Saban if they're making the same moves as him. So the question is, who is making the same moves as Nick Saban? That could be your closest thing, in my opinion, people, everybody. That could be the closest thing you have to to the Nick Saban move. Nick Saban has made hires like this before. When people criticize Ryan Day for his hire of Matt Patricia, I was the first one to come on here and say, I said, people, Matt Patricia is going to be the best hire Ryan Day made because Matt Patricia knows how to do his job. He's done it once. He'll do it again. He's done it once. He's done it as a D coordinator. It's not like we're hiring Matt Patricia to be our head coach. We're not hiring him for that. We're hiring him to be our freaking defensive coordinator, something he's elite at. It's the same thing I look at when I see Arthur Smith as the OC. I think Arthur Smith would be a great OC for Ohio State. I am going to want to see it play out on the field, but I believe it will. Why? Because this man is a great OC. And to be quite honest, I think he could have had a successful stint at Atlanta if he had a quarterback. But he didn't. So when I look at these hires that Ryan Day is making, it's because Ryan Day is saying, buddy, I don't give a damn how unfair this is. I'm going to be as unfair as possible to give my team the best possible chance to win. I am going to stack up as many coaches as I can, and that includes NFL guys, because it's going to tell recruits and it's going to tell even players in the portal, you want to be a part of Ohio State? Well, first you got to embrace the culture, but secondly, you will be developed here at Ohio State the NFL way. Regardless of how people feel. That's what Ryan Day's planning on doing. And I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly what Nick Saban did. Now, again, he had to make players embrace the culture who are gonna compete. But if you want to get developed to go to the NFL, Ohio State's the place you want to be. And do you know how many players Ohio State has that could potentially get drafted to the NFL next year in 2027? Do you know how many, James?
I I, I want to. I don't know. I don't know how many.
22. They have 10 this year, 22 next year. Now, it all depends on the seasons and the decisions. Like, for instance, Jeremiah Smith has one more year, but he's as good as gone. Okay, the man's a top
Oh
five,
yeah,
top pick. Let's
yeah.
be
No,
real. He's gone.
yeah,
He's gone.
he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. But you do have others on this team, such as Luke Montgomery, who has one more year left. This upcoming year is Luke Montgomery's final year. He's as good as gone. James Smith, I believe that he will be gone as well. If he has the season I know he will, most likely will have with Larry, especially how, you know, how pretty much by how much of a monster he's been, I hear in practice. So I think he'll be as good as gone. And then they gotta cut. Obviously, if Julian Sayin has the season I know he can have, he'll be gone. Because even though he has 2 more years left, he could be gone like CJ was in 2 years.
Yeah.
Brandon Ennis, another one. He's exhausted. This year is his last year as well. He wants to be a first-round pick, so he's going to be going after this year as well. Same with Devin McQuinn. This is his final year. And there's a couple others as well. I can go and try to get the list, but I think you guys get my point. Ohio State, because of the transfer portal and guys who may have 1 year of eligibility left, who will pretty much have a chance to come back if they want to, depending on the season they have, like Austin Saraville. As a matter of fact, let me tell you guys this right now. 4 of Ohio State's offensive linemen can all be going to the NFL draft next year. 2 are definitely gone. 2 have decisions to be made.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask yourself this question, Ohio State has literally, because of the transfer portal and the players that actually have either a year, 2, or exhausted, like total seniors at this point, you have 22 players that could be drafted at Ohio State that could potentially break the record. I ain't saying all 22 could get drafted, but you could have at least, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 maybe, that could get drafted from this class next year. So Ohio State making the hires that they're doing is not only just to be, because I think their thing is to win a national title next year, no doubt. Obviously, every year is a national title expectation for Ohio State, but it's also to get these guys to get developed so they can get drafted. Ohio State did somehow actually break that record and have all those guys go, and somehow all those dudes were to get drafted. That would be pretty ridiculous, actually, and that would obviously be the biggest. That would be the biggest feather in Ohio State's cap, and I think you could expect Ryan Day to keep making moves like that because of that very move that he's making, which is hiring NFL guys to be part of the quality control staff. Like, he already has Josh Boyd, Matt Patricia's right hand man, up there, and a former D coordinator in his own right who did really well in the NFL. So if you ask me, Ryan Day's just basically making the Nick Saban moves. Look, I love Kirk Cignetti, and we're going to talk about this in the next live show we do, which is the comparison of coaches, where who do we compare certain coaches to, such as Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, all those dudes. We're going to compare them to every coach. We're not saying they're going to be as great as these coaches, but we're saying, like, who are they most like? And depending on the moves that they made, depending on how they coach, depending even on their personalities, in a sense, you could say, who are they compared to? But I would not compare Kirk Cignetti to Nick Saban. Now, I would say this. You could say, could his personality be somewhat similar to Saban's? Yeah. But I wouldn't say that. I would say he's more like Urban, if you ask me about Kirk Cignetti. And I'll tell you guys why later on. But based on how he coaches and the way that he puts together his staff as well, it tells me he's a little bit more like Urban than he is like Nick, if you ask me. And Bobby Mack, I see you here in the chat, of course. I think the new DE coach is going to have a huge impact. I do too. I really do. Mr. Brown will definitely have he definitely will have an impact, because he actually did do a good job with the Steelers, whether people know it or not. He did. Like, And and I think the Steelers are cleaning house only because of Tom. Because like again, Tomlin never had a losing season, always made playoffs, but the man could never get past the first round, which is why they got so irritated with him.
Mhm.
So, and Mike McCarthy, he is a good coach. Say whatever you want about the man, he's a good coach, a good offensive mind, I'll say. But we'll see what he does in Pittsburgh.
He is
And
a
I'm
good
not
offensive
gonna
mind.
lie, I'm really excited to see what he does with Will Howard because apparently he loves Will Howard. He really does. So we'll see. And Bobby Mack, I also see this with you with the hire of Arthur Smith and how he likes to rotate. I think we could have 8 wide receiver tight ends with 300 yards on the season. Absolutely. Actually, this is why I love the Arthur Smith hire and the Cortez Hankins hire as well, because the rotation will finally be better. like, I'm not gonna lie, Ohio State's got it done. I will say this: Keenan Bailey's done a good job of rotating the tight ends. But the wide receivers have not gotten rotated as much, which is my only issue with Brian Harline. I love Brian Harline, but I gotta give him the criticism for that. Like, dude, the rotation was not good as much as it should have been. And I love the fact that but I also love the fact that Carlos Lockler's rotations have been great. But with Arthur Smith and how he loves to use a different set of players, because I kind of look at him the way you look at Matt Patricia, which is this is a guy who, if you just give him the pieces to work with, he can make something happen. And you give him a quarterback in Julian Sand who actually got accuracy compared to the ones he has had previously. And the best he's had was freaking old Aaron Rodgers. So like that should tell you everything. You give him this type of a quarterback who, and I've said it before, Sand has mobility. He just wasn't being encouraged to run a lot like he is this year. And Arthur Smith is even making a point to him. You do need to run to get those extra yards. So you do need to do that. Now, we're not saying become a running quarterback, but you need to be mobile as a quarterback while still having your elite pocket passing awareness. But having that, if Sand is mobile and you're still having him have his arm where, I mean, last year he had a historical passing season where he broke the completion percentage record in a single season. And that he could possibly do it again for all we know. Let's be real, he's capable. So you give Arthur Smith this offense with the wide receivers, because this is the best set of wide receivers he's had. And this man's had some good wide receivers, but not a core, not a unit like them. This is, I would say, the best set of mixtures of tight ends he's had as well. And not only that, but this is also the deepest running back room he's had as well, where he doesn't have to rely on one running back. You got multiple. Now, I will say this. On the Falcons, you had 2, which was Bates and Robinson. Those 2. And that was it. Like, with Derrick Henry, you had Derrick Henry with the freaking Tennessee Titans, but that was it. You had Jaylen Warren with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's be realistic. Their running back room wasn't very deep. With Jaylen Warren was good, but the rest were very questionable. So you gotta kind of be real on that one. So if you ask me about it, as Bobby Mack said here, Arthur Smith is gonna have this wide receiver tight end have some 300 yards. And again, I would love to see that. I really do think as well too. He's gonna have Jeremiah Smith breaking all 3 records at Ohio State, which is the receiving. The receptions record, the receiving yards record, and the touchdown record. He's gonna have all 3 of them broken this year, because Arthur Smith said it. That dude's a weapon. I'm gonna use him as much as possible. And you know what the best part is? Teams could try to double team him, but I got Brandon Ennis. I got McClain. I got McQuinn. I'm sorry. I got Steve. I got Chris Henry Jr. over here. I got Phillip Bell. I got Desi Jones. I got some deep receiver room here. So, like, y'all can double team them as much as you want. I got some depth here. I can even use the tight ends however I please. So, I'm excited to see what these coaching hires will do for Ohio State.
Yeah. And I think with a guy like Arthur Smith is the schemes that he's going to be able to run. Like you said, it's going to be guys, as defensive guys that are like, okay, we're going to just make sure Jeremiah doesn't catch the ball. But you're leaving out the connection of everybody that's involved as a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going to make Ohio State even a better team this year, is that everybody is going to know their role and adapt to it quickly. Where it's not just going to be like a one-on-one show. It's going to be everybody is a threat, no matter who we are.
Oh, yeah. And what's even better? Yeah, what's even better is you're going to have special teams finally become a weapon. Thank you, Ryan. They finally taking it seriously.
Yeah.
My surprise was hearing Brock Boyd was showing out at wide receiver. I'm not surprised he was. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't surprised because like people always compare Brock Boyd to how Brian Hartline played back when Hartline was here at Ohio State, and Hartline wasn't even the best receiver. He was like the fourth or fifth best receiver on the team, and yet that man still got playing time because of how impactful he was. So with Brock Boyd, if he's making an impact, it doesn't surprise me. And again, I'm not saying he is going to be Hartline, even though again Hartline was an excellent receiver, but he was not the best at Ohio State. But if he could be like Brian Hartline, the next incarnation, in a sense of him being impactful in multiple ways, special teams, in blocking, which is what I hear he is, as well as being able to catch his pretty much his receiving ability, then yeah, I'm not surprised that he's showing out because it's gonna be like, hey, this kid got it. It's not surprising. And thank you, Brian Hartline, for leaving us with this room. Love you, man. And I know for a lot of people, you heard about it last week, Saturday, about some rumors that started about Hotline. We're not going to talk about it on this show because, Eric and them covered it really well last time. And it's like, it's not worth talking about. So, because it's rumors. It's just rumors made up by some immature little kids who didn't like that they were getting punished for breaking the rules. So, don't even bother with that. Don't even bother. It's not even worth talking about. But I hope those people get punished for just making up a bunch of BS. Here's the reality too. Now that we got into the NFL, speaking of the NFL itself, let's talk about the fresh starts regarding the NFL season, trades and free agency that have been happening. Now, obviously, the main two that headline are Justin Fields, not surprising, and Kyler Murray, which also wasn't surprising because Kyler Murray got released, realistically, and or traded by the Arizona Cardinals, and he ended up signing with the Vikings, and Justin Fields got traded to the freaking Kansas City Chiefs, which I was like, thank freaking God, you can finally go to a team that actually has a freaking coach. Jesus. So, give your opinions on those moves, James. At least those two as of right now.
So, first, great moves by two organizations and franchises that need a difference. So, as of right now, as it looks, Justin Fields most likely will be starting at the beginning of the season, while Patrick Mahomes is still recovering from his ACL injury he had last season. Now, this is great for Justin Fields, first because you're getting an offensive mind like Andy Reid at the helm with you. And when Patrick Mahomes does come back, you get to sit behind Patrick Mahomes, who has won Super Bowl championships. And that, I want to say you guys have the same play style, but you guys match certain things when it comes to that QB room is
Oh, James, Wi-Fi again. Hey, dude, if you have to, check your router just to make sure it's up. Because I know mine's be having that problem sometimes, too. I get what he's trying to say, too, about Justin Fields. So let me say this about Fields myself while he's fixing this issue with his Wi-Fi box. Let's see here. Let me get my stuff right here. So here's what I will say about the Justin Fields to Kansas City Chiefs. This is possibly the best move he could have made because, in all honesty, you get with a coach like Andy Reid who knows how to win with quarterbacks. He knows how to develop them. I mean, this is a guy who won with freaking Nick Foles and I forget the name of the other quarterback that he had. I know he was recently on the Kansas City Chiefs, but I forget that other dude's name. That he won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you also ask me too about, I would say about this as well with Andy Reid is what he did with Patrick Mahomes, because people tend to believe that Patrick Mahomes was this quarterback that could just pass in the pocket all the time. Like Andy Reid developed Patrick Mahomes into the quarterback that he is today. What do I mean by that? I mean, and I mean this when I say this, what I mean by that is he is officially, and James, I gotta see your camera on for you to come back up here. What I mean for this is that matter of fact, let me kind of start. How am I gonna say this? Andy Reid will know how to make Justin Fields a weapon, is basically what I'm trying to say. It's not hard to see that he will be. And more importantly than that, if you ask me about Justin Fields, I said it before, like, and I've said this multiple times on this show, which is Justin Fields can be an elite quarterback if he gets the proper coaching. I mean, people, I don't care how many people have criticized him for what he did in Chicago. I'm like, look at the situation he was in, for starters. Look at the situation he was in. And look at what he had around him in Chicago. Like, the coaching was awful. The players, like the team they had around him was awful, which you got to blame on the coaching, because the coaching is supposed to develop these guys and they just don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, guess what? This guy was getting better every single year in spite of the coaching. Think about that. Like, people talk about when to bring up that man's interceptions. I'm like, are you guys aware of the receivers he had? Like, for him to have like 50 plus touchdowns, even with 30 interceptions, that's great despite the whole situation he got put in. Like, that's a horrible situation Justin got put in. And the fact that he's at least putting up good numbers like that, I mean, for as bad as they look, when you're put in as horrible of a situation as Justin Fields, those are actually pretty good numbers to have put up, despite the fact you're in a bad situation. So when I look at what Justin's doing with Kansas City, now Kansas City has holes on their team they need to fix, such as the offensive line. They still need to fix that offensive line. Now, Joshua Simmons, they love him. Former Ohio State left tackle, by the way, everybody. They love him. He's been the best left tackle, the best offensive lineman they have on their line right now. And they're going to be looking in the draft to try to see if they can build their offensive line up to a point where they can, to the point where their offensive line, their quarterbacks ain't got to be running all the time. They will be looking for another receiver. I do hear rumors that the Chiefs are looking at Carnell Tate, which would be great in all fairness for them especially, and obviously for Patrick Mahomes, because, hey, at least Patrick, you would get a receiver from wide receiver you. That's great. It really is. That's a great thing for him. So when I pretty much look at it for Justin Fields, and not only that, but the Kansas City Chiefs, I've actually seen this in reports that were put out by some people on X and Facebook, which is they do see Fields having a similar style to that of Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's not exactly Patrick Mahomes' style, but it's similar. Like, he runs like Patrick Mahomes did before. He has a great arm like Mahomes. And as much as people can talk about his accuracy, it's like, no, the guy can get the ball in the tight spaces when you need him to. His accuracy in the intermediate throws is actually pretty good. Could he use some work? Absolutely. But guess what? Everybody needs that. Even Patrick Mahomes himself said he needed some help with that. His deep balls. I said it before. Justin has the best deep balls in the league. He's had it for 4 straight years when you count his time in Pittsburgh for the 6 games he played. And his short throws, as we all know, are really, really freaking good as well. Like, his short throws and his deep balls are excellent. His intermediate throws are good as well. Like I said, he just needs work on those. But Justin has all the tools to be a great quarterback. He just needs the coaching and the help. And I believe Andy Reid will get him that. And trust me, Andy Reid does like Justin Fields. Ask him.
I love this move first for Justin Fields to be able to develop it like the quarterback he needs to be. Like, exactly, when he came out of Ohio State, the first thing I said was like, he's going to Chicago. And I know Justin is coming to Chicago. And that was the first thing. And I was like, I'm so excited because he really can do something here. But it was the coaching staff.
Because I knew they F it up. I knew they would. Now you got a quarterback that's even worse than him.
Yeah, because it was. Because I remember that first year, it was so many conversations. Because I think they wanted to bench him for I forgot who our starter was that year. But
Nick Foles and Andy Dalton, those two he was gonna
right. So it was like, no, we're gonna let Justin sit, and we're gonna let him develop a little bit. We're gonna let Nick Foles and Andy. And I was like, but why? I mean, no offense, Nick.
I think he
Foles
should do that though. Here's the thing. I will say this, James. I think it would have been the smarter move only for this. Look at what that team was that year. Like, that team was not good. And I think for Justin, you wanted to play him, but you need him to like kind of do what Patrick Mahomes did, because Mahomes did do the same thing. Now, for granted, it's Alex Smith who's better than both them quarterbacks.
That's what I was
Let's
saying.
be honest,
But
he is.
you
He's better than both of them. But it would be better to just let Justice sit and learn from two vets who have at least been around, instead of just throwing him to the wolves and like just, and especially knowing that if you throw him in there, he's gonna get destroyed by that offensive line, by those wide receivers that aren't any good. Like, we need to build this team around him was their whole mantra. Because it's like, we know that fans are excited for him, but let's be realistic for the Bears fans. You have to understand, this team is not built right for him right now. Like, if we just
yeah,
throw him out here, he's gonna get killed. We know so. So I will say I give them the credit on that, because it's like you're trying to protect him and trying to develop him in a way that allows him to grow. And when you put him out there, he's more aware. Like, again, these two quarterbacks are not as good as Alex Smith, but Nick Foles won a Super Bowl under Andy Reid, and this is a guy who did get taught by Andy Reid. So, hey, you could probably learn something from him in a sense. So I'll say that about the whole Justin Fields thing, if you ask me, about that whole thing in Chicago, which is why I'm not mad at Matt Nagy, because I understand what the plan was. And it looks like James is frozen again. I swear, this thing. Dude, check your router. Check your router, because it... Alright. You could go back and give your opinions now. But check your router when you get the opportunity, dude.
I swear, like AT&T is not guaranteed. I'm so,
Oh, no wonder you got bad Wi-Fi. You on AT&T.
AT&T is not guaranteed, guys. They did not tell me this. Okay, so first, I want to agree with preparation, of course, with Justin Fields, of course, with him learning. And he gets to really do that in a team that has a set quarterback where he can really learn. I think in Pittsburgh, when he got there, and it was the conversation between, okay, well, Russell Wilson is going to be our quarterback. We're just going to use you for certain plays and certain slots and stuff like that. But now he can really just develop and learn from somebody and sit back. I think the reason that Jimmy Garoppolo did so well when he came from New England to San Francisco and when they made that playoff push is because he had so much time developing behind time that he was able to get a lot of that going for himself. And
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco was a really good team, even though we can always say it was systems and it was Kyle Shanahan being Kyle Shanahan, but Jimmy played well in that system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we know Kansas City has two first round picks because, of course, All Pro Trey McDuffie has just been traded to Los Angeles Rams for their first round pick in this upcoming draft, which we is most likely going to be used for another offensive lineman or a defensive person. But most likely, it's going to be to work on the line to when Justin Fields and Patrick Mahomes get ready to go out and the season starts. They want to make sure that line is correct.
Yes.
So when you look at a quarterback like Justin Fields and the situation he's getting put into again, it's different. I mean, in New York, it was a lot of expectations that were very, very high for Justin. And I think that working with, again, a whole new coach, like like he's been doing his entire career, brand new
Right.
coach, brand new system, he hasn't really gotten used to anybody that since he's been in the NFL. He's been going through coaches like it's candy. So he hasn't been able to build with somebody and where they can really focus on his talents and his ability. So when he does bad, the first thing they do is take him out and put somebody else in. When instead he has to learn. Justin is this is the time period right now where he gets to learn and he gets to make these mistakes. And now he's going to be with a coach and a system that can really help him.
Yep. Oh, absolutely, James. Again, you're kind of frozen. Dude, switch your Wi-Fi from AT&T. Because, look, I be having trouble with Xfinity at times, but it ain't even this bad. I'm sorry, dude.
And he can read a defense very, very well. So I think we're not going to see Patrick Mahomes on the football field and Justin Fields, but you're going to see certain things that he can do in his ability, like a Patrick Mahomes. And we're not going to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is just keep him over 500.
Just keep over 500. Got it. Guys, yeah, no. Please, I understand this. I, James, switch your Wi-Fi from AT&T to like Verizon or T-Mobile, because oh my god, AT&T's, bro. I thought T-Mobile was bad. I thought T-Mobile was bad, but man, it might be better than AT&T if you're telling me this constantly happens. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't like. Again, I understand because Xfinity be getting on my nerves too sometimes, but it ain't this bad. It ain't this bad. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not this bad. But while we're waiting on James to come back in to finish his thoughts, I will on Justin Fields. We'll be jumping on to the Kyler Murray one because I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Kyler Murray. I'm not the biggest fan of Kyler. I think Kyler is a bum. I always have. I didn't think he'd be successful because I think he's more of a running back trying to play quarterback. Now, a lot of people say, well, when you said about Justin, but here's the difference. Kyler, if you watch Kyler Murray, and again, you can break it down based on their films. Justin looked more like an NFL quarterback coming out of college than Kyler Murray did. Kyler just looked like your typical college quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm just being real when I say it. And Kyler, at the same time, like, he can't see over the offensive line. And you know what? The Minnesota Vikings offensive line has suffered some injuries. So, yeah, no, Eric, no doubt. I am taller than Kyler. You would be right about that. I'm taller than Kyler Murray. And I'm 5'4". But I'm taller than the fool. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm taller than him. So, at the end of the day, when we talk about these final trades, I will say, and again, I'm going to wait on James to see if he comes back, and if he doesn't, we'll just end it. But with Kyler Murray, it's like, dude, you're not a good quarterback. I'm sorry, man. Like, you've had 7 years, and you've been in the same team, in the same system, and you still do the stupidest things possible. So, like, I don't know. Like I said, with the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if things will work out with Kyler Murray. I don't know if it will or won't. We'll see. I'm willing to give him a chance like I've been willing to give with Justin, for sure. But at the end of the day, I really do believe that that Kyler Murray's, that the Justin Fields to Kansas City Chiefs, if you ask me, in my opinion, does put him in a winning situation because it allows him to get developed. And if I was Justin Fields, I'm staying with the Kansas City Chiefs at least for 3 years. Because at least I get to stay with Andy Reid and learn from the greatest quarterback mind there is in the NFL since Ryan Day. Seriously, Ryan Day is the last great quarterback mind coach that Justin Fields has worked with in his entire football career. You get to work with someone who has just as great of a football mind as he does, as Ryan Day, and that is Andy Reid, who, in my opinion, as of right now, is the second greatest coach in NFL history, right there with Bill Belichick. So, I think for Justin, he's in a great situation, and he should stay there for at least 3 years, be developed. And for the Minnesota Vikings, let me tell you something. When the 2027 draft comes up, Vikings, do yourself a favor. Draft a quarterback. Seriously, watch the quarterback. Stop listening to the freaking media because they got you JJ McHandoff, and you see how well that works.
Wait. So wait. Are you telling me you don't have no faith in JJ McCarthy getting developed by 2027?
Here, I don't have any faith in this dude only for this one reason. It's because he cannot read a defense, which I've seen coming out of him in college. This man is only good at handing off the football. And guess what? That's the other thing. We don't call him McHandoff for no reason, but also his mechanics are crap. And I'm like, dude. I told Minnesota fans, I'm like, for the Vikings, why would you draft him in the first round? If you wanted him, take him in the second or third round. Like, take the pressure. As a first-round quarterback, man, you just do all that. But I can't. But, hey, Vikings, I get it. The media put all that pressure on you. But also, McCarthy, there's no Connor Stallions now, so you have to figure out how to read the defense, brother. So, do I think he got to figure it out now?
I mean, I think with Kyler there, especially in Minnesota, they have a lot they have to redo with that team. I mean, I don't know how many weeks it took for Justin Jefferson to get like a touchdown in the
Bro, it
games
took
that
like
they
weeks.
played.
Justin Jefferson had like his worst year.
Yeah, it was really bad, and it wasn't his fault. And that was
That's
the
the
thing
point.
about it. Like Man, it was not his fault. Like he was trying
No,
the
it
best
wasn't. But
he
that was
could.
the point, though. It's like, dude, he
Yeah,
wants a quarterback that can throw, and it's like you get a quarterback that's just completely
and
butt cheeks for
and you get and getting Kyler doesn't really solve that issue.
it. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because Kyler is going to be running, and he's not going to be looking
I mean,
downfield like he
and not to
should.
mention, he's not even like, bro. JJ McCarthy, at least he can see over the offensive line. This guy can't see over the offensive line. So like,
I mean, we said the same thing. We said the same thing about Bryce Young when he first got to Carolina, and that was like the
well,
biggest
let's be
thing.
real. Like, I will give Bryce Young this is that from what I seen of him at Alabama, I see it. He could be a good quarterback when he finds himself in the right situation because he can and he has learned. I don't know how, but he has learned how to read the defense, even if he can't like see over his offensive line. He's able to see them in some aspect where he can read the defense. I don't know how he does it. I forgot how. They explained it in some way. I forgot how, but he is able to read the defense and make good passes. I didn't think that with Bryce Young because I was like, he's kind of more like him and CJ, in my opinion, would be the two quarterbacks that I believe could have great seasons if depending on where they go. Now I'm not gonna lie, CJ did not go to a great situation with the Houston Texans, but he managed to get to the playoffs for 3 years. Bryce Young, I would say, was even in an even worse situation with the Carolina Panthers because of the incompetence of their front office. But they managed to build around him, get some competence built around him, and they finally went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, I did not think highly of Anthony Richardson at all. I thought he was the worst quarterback of the bunch. The second best quarterback I thought it was before the injuries hit him was Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. I said this guy could be a great quarterback, but the problem was he got injured, so I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, this could be a problem. And now he's with
I
the
think
Lions, and from what I understand with him in the Lions, he hasn't looked great. So we have to wait to see what happens with him.
I,
So
I think you see guys like first Jaden Daniels had his really a sophomore slump this season, so hopefully he can bounce back with the Commanders next season. Because I think he has the greatest potential, and I think he has the right team behind him, especially with a coach like Dan Quinn. So I think that there's a lot there. I think when you look at guys, Anthony Richardson, I don't know what it is that makes him not what Indianapolis needed at that time. I mean, I'm happy Daniel Jones has grown into the quarterback that we've all been expecting him to be for all this time, especially from the time he spent in New York with the Giants and how that story ended. I'm happy that he can finally kind of get with a team that values him and that
yeah.
values his ability where he can show it. But when you look at those guys and kind of what this team is trying to work on, it's so many question marks, especially with the young guys that's coming in. Now I agree with you. Next year, I think that draft class of quarterbacks is going to be stacked.
Oh yeah.
I think
You
it's
know,
going to be
I'm
stacked.
gonna tell you this: if you're the Minnesota Vikings or a team looking for a quarterback, one guy you can pay attention to is his name is Julian Sand.
Yeah,
One guy.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie. Julian Satan will look really good for, especially the background of coming from Ohio and what he's gonna be doing. I think Dante Moore is gonna be at least a top pick coming out of next year from Oregon. Um, I don't know where he's gonna land. I don't know what team is gonna be the worst of the pack, but he's gonna be he's gonna definitely have a chance to play somewhere next season. Um, I think a quarterback that surprised me this season that I wasn't a lot of people list was Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was amazing this season. I mean, take
Hmm.
out some of the injuries from the concussion, but he was an incredible quarterback for New York.
Oh
Incredible
yeah,
quarterback.
he absolutely was.
So, and you
I'm
saw
not
it
gonna
on
lie.
this.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I really do think things will go great for the New York Giants. If you ask me, I think things will go really, really
Mhm.
well for them. Um, especially with John Harbaugh there now. And look, I know for a fact that people probably will think that. Um, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Bobby Mack. There could be 6 QBs drafted in the first round next year. Oh yeah, 2027 class. There definitely could be
No,
six.
no,
Dante Moore. He's another
I
one too.
completely agree. I
Dante Moore.
completely agree. Dante
Yeah.
Moore's out of there, and I think he's a clear first round pick next year, in
Mhm.
my opinion.
I think it
I
was
think
smart
Dante
for him
Moore.
to come back this year because I think that
Mhm.
given what he showed
Yeah,
last year, like yeah, he has potential, but let's be realistic. He's made a bunch of boneheaded dumb throws. So if you ask me, I think him coming back this year will give him another chance to clean stuff up and to finally get somewhere where he needs to be as far as being a quarterback to like perfect his craft. Let's just say that. Now
I
for
agree.
yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I agree completely. I think Trinidad Chambers is going to be incredible when he comes out next year after the big fight that he has been working to get one more year eligibility. I hope it is worth it. I hope that you show what you need to show, and you can go to the draft and feel confident in where you get drafted to.
Yep.
It has been a battle, so I hope that it was worth it, and you can go out and do what you got to do. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
I
Now,
think the biggest name. Oh
J-
no, please.
yeah, no, I was about to ask you this real quick too. Tell me, what other trade news do you have here that's happening in the NFL? Like, what other free agents trades do you think that people should be happy
You
looking out?
know, I want to talk about the biggest one that hit my desk, and I think that shows where Baltimore is as a team right now. As we all know, Max Crosby, for
Oh
about a
yeah.
week, was a Baltimore Raven for a literally a week, and then the medical staff evaluated Max Crosby, who we all know was coming off of an injury.
Mhm.
That Los Angeles, that the Las Vegas Raiders told them about. Hey, listen, he's coming off this injury, he's healing, but he should be ready to go by a certain amount of time. And they were like, nope, we don't like it. We don't like it at all. We're gonna just send us our draft consumption drafts, draft picks back, send our people back, and you take them back. And I'm just like, you guys missed out on a talent. You guys missed out on a talent this and Max Crosby. But of course, then they tried to sign Tyler Hendricks from the Cincinnati Bengals, which is a great move for them. Um, it's a lot of great moves. Jaden Waddle from Miami is going to the Denver Broncos. Great wide receiver. Can't wait to see what Bo Nix does with him as the season when the season starts back up. The biggest news, Mike Evans is a 49er, longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer, heading to the 49ers. That is hard. That is a really big hit for them. I'm feeling like Adam Schefter right now. I'm feeling like Shefty. I'm feeling like Shefty, man. Um, that was a big move. Wasn't expected. I think Miami is cleaning house. I think we're seeing that with Tua, who signed with the Atlanta Falcons to be their next quarterback. So I think they're cleaning house. They don't want to get rid of everybody, but they are definitely cleaning house when it comes to a lot of the players that they're trying to get rid of and moving on from. Um, uh, oh, it's so much going on. It's so much that is going on, guys. Uh, of course, Kirk Cousins has officially been released from the Atlanta Falcons. That was a
Not
big
surprising.
news. Hmm?
Not surprising.
Not surprising. Not surprising. Oh, big news! Geno Smith heading back to New York to play for the Jets. Got traded from the Las Vegas Raiders back to New York where he started his career. Are we ready for Geno Magic in New York? I think we are. I think that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. Um, it's, it's so much going on, man. It was a really good free. I want to also say it was a really good free agency. It started off a little slow, but definitely picked up. Michael Pittman Jr. got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another great wide receiver to add. Oh, the biggest story. It's a lot of big stories, but this one I feel like is really big to me because I don't understand. Kenneth Walker the third, the Super Bowl MVP, is yeah. Oh,
Yeah, guys.
sorry about that, guys. Kenneth Walker Jr. the third, heading to Kansas City, Super Bowl MVP. The Seahawks said we're not going to keep you. We're not going to work on a new contract. We're going to let you test free agency. Could not believe that. Could not believe you want to break up that team. And it has not just been Kenneth Walker. A lot of those guys have left Seattle this past season, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, you know how
Metro,
some of these NFL teams are. They kind of cheap. I'm like, y'all better keep them together if y'all need to.
I mean,
I will say Kenneth Walker going to the Kansas City Chiefs, other than the Justin Fields one, was the biggest one because it's like, wow, they actually get a running back there, and he's a
yeah,
great one.
I wasn't expecting that. And Kansas City, and again, this also helps out Justin Fields when he gets back there. They got a lot of more pieces
Come
now
on.
that they should be very proud of. Of
No,
course, Travis Kelsey, of course, is coming back for his 14th season with the Kansas City Chiefs. It was really up in the air. Was he going to be retiring? Was he going to stay? Was he not going to stay? And he has decided to stay with Kansas City and go into another season. So, and they're paying for much. Oh, the Miami Dolphins have signed Malik Willis from the Green Bay Packers, who had an incredible season for the game that he subbed in for Jordan Love when he was out with injury. He played incredible. So I'm very excited to see what he does in Miami. That QB room is a lot of guys. Him, Quinn Ewers, like it's a lot of guys there. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Yep. And definitely too, because when you hear about it, and shout out to my guy Troy V from the Toxic Mafia, my brother. It's good to see you. He did. Now I will say this: now that who do you think would be the Arizona Cardinals quarterback?
You know, it's so up in the air. I think we're Arizona. I first think that they like Jacoby Brissett. I really think that they want to really start him for next season and kind of let him take the helm a little bit more. We saw it at the end of last season when they benched Kyler Murray. I think they really like Jacoby Brissett. Now, if it was up to me, I think you got guys that really can't step up into their roles right now. I know Joe Flacco was definitely not happy with the love he was receiving in free agency. Um, he was like, "Hey, I still got it." I would have. I think Mac Jones. I know he already probably. I think he did resign with the 49ers, but he would have been another great choice for a quarterback in Arizona. But I think for right now, I think Jacoby Brissett is where they can start right now, and I think they aim for somebody in the next draft. So they try to go in with Jacoby Brissett, see how that goes. But I think they do aim for a rookie in the next draft and see how that goes for them.
Oh yeah. Oh guys, any final thoughts by the way, James, before we head out?
Um, I want to go back with what Bobby Mack said when he was talking about the different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think Archie Manning has to have an incredible season for me to put him in that conversation of draft picks right now to be eligible. I think Archie Manning last year had a lot of high expectations, and I got to see what he does with them this year.
I don't blame it on the
But
kid because I'm not gonna lie, he was a first time starter last year. You can't put that on
yeah,
him. He's a first time starter, just like saying, and it's like you look at these
yeah,
people in the media, and you're like, you're just absolutely stupid. Why would you put that on this kid? Us Ohio State
uh,
fans don't even put that kind of stuff on Julian saying like, yeah, well, do we expect?
yeah.
We don't expect
You
greatness,
got
by the way, but we expect great play. Like we expect good
yeah.
play. We expect great
You,
play. But no, it's
you
like no.
definitely got
Like why would you guys hype him up saying, "Oh, he could be the Heisman winner," this, that, and the other? It's like, guys, he has weaknesses that he needs to work on. What is even the point of this? What?
mhm.
Why would you do this to this kid?
Yeah, I think, and another big story that I saw was definitely Fernando Mendoza, where people are really saying Ty Simpson could be a starting quarterback. M- There's more talk about Ty Simpson being a starting quarterback of a team than Mendoza, and I'm very shocked about this because of how much hype has been around him, and to see that they're kind of begging on Ty Simpson being a little bit better than Fernando Mendoza in this draft is very compelling, very interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely. Hey guys,
Mm.
I want to thank you guys for coming on to the show, and I've enjoyed this first live broadcast with all of you. How about you, James? You feel good about it?
I, I've enjoyed it. We had some real technical difficulties. AT&T is
Yeah,
not
guys.
guaranteed.
That look,
I
the original
completely.
podcast has dealt with that for the
They are
longest,
not
man.
great.
Yeah, like
Man,
you might want to check your router or switch Wi-Fi networks because
I
even with
I
my issues
literally
I have with Xfinity, I don't get that happening all the time.
Yeah, no, I literally had to restart it. It was a whole thing. It was bad. Yes, it's not
Yeah,
working.
guys. Look,
But I
so
appreciate you guys. Love, I just very appreciate it.
yeah, and I hope to see more of our folks on here as well, because I know now I will tell you guys this right now. The OHL podcast, as you already know, has a show tonight at 8 in Ohio time and 7 in Chicago time, where they will be talking about the fact that Miami once again tried to tamper with Jeremiah Smith, which it's not shocking because these idiots and Jeremiah Smith had turned them down for the third time and just basically said, when are you going to start embarrassing yourselves, you scumbags? And not only that, but on the OHL Columbus Aviators show, they're going to have a live stream of the Columbus Aviators. I will be on there watching the Aviators' first game with Eric and them. Obviously, I don't know if I think I'll be more so in the chat, if anything. I might try to hop on to the live myself to do a watch along with them, but we'll see. And also, if you guys ever get the opportunity, head to the OHL podcast to check out the merch. Get the TG Wolverine hoodie you see and shirt. It is available as part of our merch store. You guys click on the link down below. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so that way you guys never miss an episode. This was a good, in spite of all the technical difficulties that had happened, this was still, and I mean this when I say this, still a good first episode of the live stream here. You guys will catch us every Sunday at 5 live. And you guys are going to be able to hear a bunch of new stuff that's going to be happening. And again, on the next show, we will be talking about the comparison of coaches, which is, what the media likes to do is compare everybody to Saban, compare everybody to certain coaches. What we're going to do is we're going to start comparing the coaches that they mainly talk about to the coaches that we know of. So we're going to compare Kirby, Ryan Day, Kirk Cignetti, Dan Lanning, these four, and Lane Kiffin, for that matter of fact, because they love comparing Lane Kiffin for whatever the goddamn reason. We're going to compare all of them to legendary coaches that have come before them. And we're going to see which coaches are they more so like. So, we'll be doing that for the next live, and we'll also be talking a little bit more news that will be coming out, I would say, throughout the week. Anything comes up more about the Brian Hartline, rumors, we'll talk about it. But like I said, they're just rumors by kids, which is immature as heck. Who can't handle getting punished. So, again, thank you guys for being on the show. And we're going to, and like we always do, again, make sure you check out the OHR podcast after 7 today. Check out the Aviators, the live watch-along. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so you never miss another episode of The Spectrum. And share this with your family and friends so that way you guys can help us get out there. Love to see you guys next time. We're going to end it off as we always do. Peace to everybody.
Peace out.